Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first official video on here and I'm hoping to share some art advice and some of my knowledge as an artist. I'll be playing a full process video in the background as I share my experience trying to create original artwork. If you already follow me on Instagram, you know that I post a lot of studies. Studies are very important if you want to develop your skills very quickly. And that is how I've been able to develop my skills in a span of 2 to 3 years. Studies are mostly based on one photograph and they're quite easy for me to do. Originals are a lot more complex and on a different level. I still use photographs but mostly as inspiration, and I tend to combine multiple references to create one image like you see on screen right now. In this illustration I just used 3 references. My first attempt was a disaster and it was like I've never drawn a face in my life. I'm not sure if experts in the field have this issue as well, but I know that a lot of artists do. It happens to me a couple of times whereby my art does not reflect my skills at all, and mostly occurs when I try to create something new and original. Trying to do something different with your art is always a great idea, no matter your skill level or your art style. It helps you to find and discover yourself as an artist and find things that you may like and enjoy. But you also have to be prepared for failure, which is completely fine. It will help you to grow as an artist and reveal to you so much about yourself and your artistic capabilities. You don't have to be great at everything, but it's always good to experiment at the same time. So what I will do now is that I'll pause this process video and I will show you my struggle with the first artwork. My intentions going into this was to exaggerate the proportions for my character, but halfway through the illustration everything just looked off. I tried my hardest to try and fix it. I flipped my canvas, I moved things around and all those other extra things that you do, but it just didn't look right. So I just had to admit to myself that it wasn't going to work, and it's really hard to call it quit and say, okay, I just have to stop this before it's too far. And I think I actually went too far with this one, because sometimes I just stop right at the beginning, but with this one I really tried my hardest to go as far as I can push it because I really like the concept. But it just didn't look right at the end, so I just had to scrap everything and delete it. Other times, when you can salvage something bad, but in this case obviously it was not salvageable, so I just had to let it go and go on with the next project. I still like the concept very much. I like the idea of the fish around the character, so I just wanted to try it again. So what I did was that I stopped and I took a break completely from drawing for a few hours, I think, or maybe even for a whole day, and I just looked back at the artwork just to see what went wrong and why it was so unsuccessful. And as soon as I opened the image and I looked at my reference, I was able to pick my mistakes very easily. And that's how you know that it was just a bad day for me to draw, because obviously I knew what I was doing, but I know what I'm doing as an artist. But in this case, it's as if everything that I knew about art just flew out of my head, and I didn't know anything, and I was trying to draw, but nothing was sticking. So yeah, taking that break was really helpful for me. I had the time to, get a cup of tea, go for a walk, whatever, and then come back and see all my mistakes. As what I like to do also is to go back at my other artworks, even watch my process videos. I find process videos really helpful for me, especially when I want to try and replicate a certain aspect of my style. I watch like process videos to see how I created something in a previous illustration, and that helps me to replicate it in the new one. So after after taking a break, I decided to try again because I really like the concept. But this time around, I just decided to go for a front facing character because that's my comfort zone. But I also wanted to challenge myself, so I decided to draw a hand in the portrait. Ants, as we all know, can be very tricky. So yeah, so it was actually fun adding the and so I just had to look for a different pose with a front facing character, with hands around the character. So that was a quite, you know a nice addition to the illustration. And anytime I decide to redo an artwork again and just start from the beginning and maybe try and push the direction of the artwork in a completely different way while still keeping my concept, I never regret it. It's always so much better. This has happened to me a couple of times, maybe about 4 or 5 times, and all those times the second attempt was like superior, was always superior to the first one. And I'm not sure why this is the case. It could be because I'm in a better state of mind at the time of drawing again, because I feel like sometimes being in the right state of mind can really help you to create better artwork. So I would say if you're in a really bad mood, don't it's not a really good idea to draw. Try and motivate yourself right before you start any illustration, and that helps a lot. So I would advise you guys that next time you're struggling with visualizing your concepts, don't give up on that concept. Just try again. Maybe try and change a few things about it, but still keep the main concept there. You can take a break, um, get some inspiration, some motivation. And I also noticed that when I try to enforce like some composition, it can really make a big difference in my illustration. I've talked about this with my patrons, how much composition can really elevate your artwork if you are beginning, and especially if you want to create original artwork. You definitely need to understand the concept of composition. I actually talked about composition last month on my Patreon. It is still accessible to all new patrons if you sign up before the end of the month. And that's all I have for my generic art advice. I'll just let the video play in the background as I do the outro. Feel free to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you would like to see for my channel, and if you like this format and how I can possibly improve my editing and my YouTube skills, so to say. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.